see Salic, who is currently AFK or MIA. I believe that it was a Morgana Dark Binding that has executed him, so he's unable to join at the moment. But that being said, it is going to be the Thresh banned away by Team Original, taking that one off the map at the very early stages of the game. We do have so many new people here. S-Jaces, Delicious Seal coming back, Kane Kennedy as well. 10 terabyte WD Gold, welcome back to the stream. I know you've played once before. Semtheus played in the last game, but has joined us once again. Tamani and Eat Noobs 24/7 played in the last game, has rejoined. Going to be an awesome time. So thank you all for both being new, for joining the stream, and for playing in the games. This stream wouldn't be possible if you guys weren't playing it. But because we have so many new people, a lot of people don't know some players' experiences. So if you want to get really, really good in these games, and I'm not saying this for my stream, I'm saying this just as a suggestion, watch every game. And the main reason is that you'll see things such as Lord Reeves has a crazy good Anivia. Landex is a ridiculously good ADC. Catinator is a god in the top lane and jungle. I mean, some of these players have been playing on the stream for a very, very long time and are very well known. That being said, some people can take some information from the last game and know that Semtheus played a ridiculously good Jax in the jungle. Will he play this time around? I'm not really sure. I think I know who Kane Kennedy is going to go. We'll have to see if that takes place. But for everyone that is in the Discord chat, thank you for that. It is a Jax fan, Landex, you jerk. I actually shouldn't have said anything about Semtheus because he is new, but he is going to have to play something else as his Jax was banned away. That's completely my fault. I apologize. Zoe, the final ban from Ninja Turtles, taking that one away. So the question is, what is Landex going to play in the bottom lane AD carry role? It is going to be the Ezreal. Wants to show up. Wants to take TSM Doublelift, who played a ridiculously good Ezreal last week. Showed that his own Ezreal is just as good. As Semtheus maybe picking up the Caitlyn for himself, maybe somewhere else, also still just hovering. We'll have to see how that one goes down. The main things about Ezreal, seen him played a lot in MSI if you are watching that. Very strong champion on a certain build in which you build double tier items and then go stack on the Trinity Force as well. Can be incredibly powerful with a 3-item massive spike. Mostly it's the 2-item spike of both tier items. Instead is going to be, well, we'll see what he builds this time around. Semtheus picking up the Vayne, as it is going to be Mordekaiser locked in by 10 terabyte WD Gold. We'll see where the Mordekaiser wants to go. Is it going to be the top lane? Is it going to be the bottom lane supportive role? Mordekaiser is one of those weird champions you don't get to see a lot. However, when he takes out the dragon, it is so incredibly powerful. It's basically like another Rift Herald. I've seen one time a team that was able to pull a Mordekaiser, Dragon, and Rift Herald both spawn. They picked up, I believe, 3 turrets and got a massive amount of damage on an inhibitor in one solid push. As Lord Reeves may be locking in the Karma for himself, potentially either support or the mid lane. As Zed also picked up by Tamani once again. We'll see where they are both going to go. Probably Zed in the mid lane, Karma in the bottom lane supportive role. As we are about to get into ban stage number 2, there's a lot of jungles to be banned away by Ninja Turtles against Team Original, as well as we could still see the top laner being banned, the top lane position being banned as well. A little bit of roles pinch. Commander C, gotta go. Thank you for joining us and playing in Game 1. The curse has been broken! That's what counts. We appreciate you both coming by and being able to successfully break the curse. As now Semtheus back on the bans is banning away some top laners. I suppose Yasuo also plays in the mid lane. We've seen him picked up a couple times in MSI. Not as powerful, but I think that with the Zed in the mid lane and Zoe and Yasuo banned away, they may be pinching a pool that's unnecessary. Could be more of that top lane or even jungle bans more specifically, as the Soraka banned away by Team Original, taking out that support, wanting to make life a little bit easier. One of the things that combos well with the Vayne, though, is somebody that can frontline hard. You're thinking Alistar, you're thinking of Braum, you're thinking potentially even a Leona. Lock people down enough for Vayne to get those triple auto attacks off, proc the Silver Bolts, and do a massive amount of damage. Ninja Turtles banning away the Vlad. Welcome back, Salek. How are your children?
They wanted more drink and cuddles, and they're happy now.
Drinks and cuddles. I think that's what everyone wants in life. I mean, yep. I can't think of too many adults that would turn down some drinks and cuddles.
I smell fear.
That's what I was thinking when I got up there. I was like, you know, I can understand that, boys.
I can understand that. It's also a little bit weird that it is light outside for you. Oh no, the stream is actually going on in the background. No, somebody's playing a game in the background. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, my wife is actually playing a game called Massive Chalice in the background.
Massive Chalice. So that's what they were commenting on in the chat. They were saying so is that Massive Chalice in the background. So that is indeed correct for whoever mentioned that earlier. That's really cool. I cannot believe they were able to pick that out.
I was about to say they actually got the game right.
They
Holy
actually got that out. That was early on in the last game. Somebody. It just completely threw over my head. I didn't understand it, but where is it? Yeah, what's going on in the background, Salic? Oh, is that Massive Chalice? Two different people, Catinator and Mola Molafont, were able to at least take note of that. So that's really impressive.
Cat and Mola Mola, you two are monsters. I didn't know my camera was good enough for you to pick that out. Cat knows exactly what you're playing. They picked it out on stream in that little thumbnail.
The tiny little thumbnail.
Right. Speaking of Cat picking up the Teemo, so I'm interested to see how he does. I don't think I've seen Cat on Teemo. Now, Cat is, generally speaking, one of the monsters we have here on stream, and he's paired up with Lord Reeves this time on that Karma in the mid lane. So we are looking at a monstrous game out of them, and we'll see what can happen from the likes of the Ninja Turtles.
Indeed, as it is one of those things, Delicious Seal picking up the Nasus for the top lane. We've barely, at least I've barely ever seen Nasus in games these days with the tank meta kind of falling off. He's not one that you normally pick. However, the late game from Ninja Turtles at this point is insane when you're talking about super late game Nasus who just continues to stack up his Qs. Late game hyper carry Vayne who could just come online and destroy anyone with 3 shots. And a Vigar who's going to be constantly stacking ability power as well. If Ninja Turtles can survive past 30 minutes, the game should so easily be in their hands. However, they've got a ways to go to get there. Before we get into that, though, let's go ahead and roll to the players and their champions very quickly. For the blue side, Team Original, we've got Landex on the Ezreal in the bottom lane. ADC role to many with the Zed in the mid lane. Lord Reeves, bottom lane supportive role of the Karma. Eat Noobs 24/7 back again on the jungle of the Lee Sin. And Catinator in the top lane, taking the Teemo.
And then on the side of the Ninja Turtles, we have Semthews bringing the Vayne down into the bot lane. 10 terabyte WD gold on the Mordekaiser up in the top with that Ignite. Riven jungle for S-Jaces, as well as Delicious Seal back with the Nasus. And then we got Kane Kennedy on the Vagar as well.
So
I'm curious to see. I said Mordekaiser top, but I'm curious to see who actually ends up in top lane. Because if looking at the champions there, I would actually put Delicious Seal on the top lane with the Nasus, Mordekaiser support, and Kane Kennedy with the Vagar mid.
And that's what I was going to say, is I actually commented on it when Mordekaiser was picked up. He makes a bottom lane support role. Not great, but at least functional. And one of the main things about it is that it's so easy for him to rotate whenever a dragon is picked up. You grab that dragon, you carry it towards the bottom lane turret or even the mid lane and get that push on. But that's because he is the bottom lane supportive role. However, he doesn't bring a whole lot for the Vayne other than a little bit of damage and kind of just an extra threat in the bottom lane. So my question is, can this poking Karma that is able to do such good damage from a massive distance away, as well as an Ezreal who has one of the larger ranges in the game with that Mystic Shot, just poke Mordekaiser out to be completely useless in the bottom lane supportive role?
They can definitely poke him out if he's not careful about dodging, especially the Mystic shots coming out of the Ezreal. Lord Reeves on the Karma, I expect almost every single one of those to hit. Mordekaiser does have a little tiny bit of sustain built into his kit that will help survive that lane phase, but like you said, if they start getting landing all the poke down, Mordekaiser doesn't stand much of a chance of actually holding with that Vayne, and they'll have to just concede a lot of territory and a lot of advantages to land in Lord Reeves.
And that's another thing that I'm seeing from Team Original is that when you've got those slow people from Ninja Turtles, the Nasus and the Mordekaiser and even the Riven, despite having a little bit of those hops, so much mobility is coming out of Team Original. The Lee Sin able to ward hop, shield hop, bounce around to different locations, Zed being able to dash to his own shadows, Ezreal being able to just do his arcane shift over walls, and then last but not least, Karma. Mantra shield being able to speed the entire team around the map. They don't have a strong front line, but they make up for that is massive mobility. That being said, they need to pop off so hard in the early game. shut down the Vayne, shut down the Nasus, keep Vigar from getting any kills. Because if Ninja Turtles, as I said, scales past the 20, the 30, the 35-minute mark, their late game, just innate power and having these scaling champions should be able to win them the game.
Yep, and that's exactly the timer that I would put on it. I'd say 35 minutes. If this game isn't decided by 35 minutes, it's going to start swaying very heavily in the favor of the Ninja Turtles.
So, besides just doing really, really well in laning phase, what can Team Original do that can actually give them an advantage to be able to snowball the game before those tanks and the Vayne and the Vigar come online for Ninja Turtle?
Well, I mean, obviously, when you've got that Lee Sin, you've got a lot of move around potential. Like you mentioned, all of his hops coming across through the jungle. If he can get into any of those lanes, get behind somebody, and manage that dragon kick into his team, into whatever laner that he's ganking for at that time, it's going to create a lot of chaos and a lot of voids on the side of the Ninja Turtles.
I completely agree. There's actually an MSI game in which the Lee Sin was set so far behind. However, all he did afterwards was start to gank lanes and try to become a huge impact on the game itself through those lanes. And because he was able to both stack up kills either for himself or for his laners, the eventual power that he was able to bring led his team to a victory. So I'd love to see from Team Original this Lee Sin be massively aggressive, focusing everywhere on the map that you have those squishy early game heroes, both of the Vigar and of the Vayne. Burn a flash, then come back for a repeat gank, try to get a kill, head to a different lane, burn a flash there, repeat. I would love for Lee Sin just to camp a lane and get one of his members, either the Ezreal or the Zed. I wouldn't do so much on the Teemo, but the Ezreal or Zed, try to get them so far ahead that they can just carry the game themselves, snowballing it to a victory.
And something I do want to point out, we got a couple of lanes backwards here. It's actually going to be the Mordekaiser in the mid lane and Vagar support.
Okay, all right. I am wrong.
I actually do like that coming out. If that's an adaptation, I do like that coming out of the Ninja Turtles. The Mordekaiser will be able to sustain against one champion's damage better than he will two. Not to mention that if that Zed does walk up and try to do it, he can always pop the bonk and hit him with that Mace of Spades and really do some serious damage.
And the other nice thing about that Mordekaiser is he's still near the Dragon Pit. Maybe not quite as close as he would be in the bottom lane, but he can rotate with his bottom lane to be able to get towards that dragon when Riven is ready to try to pick one of those up. And with that, one of the hardest things is for Mordekaiser to be in the top lane, and he can only do maybe a teleportation towards the bottom lane to be able to pick up one of those drakes and move it in. Catinator in the top lane.
We were talking about...
Go ahead.
We were talking about early Lee Sin pressure. He's already ganking in the mid lane.
Yep, and Lee Sin moving in 10 terabyte WD. Very low health. The shield keeping alive for a moment. The Ignite onto Eat Noob 24. As much as you don't like to see him be unsuccessful in it, I think just burning that Ignite gives so much more pressure for Timani, who still has his Ignite as well in the mid lane. There's potential for him to harass his Mordekaiser down and use that Ignite to try to pick up a kill. But 10TB back to full health, able to sustain himself. He did start that refillable pot as well, so he should be able to keep himself healthy unless Timani gets a lot of good poke down.
He has a lot of good poke down. He's walking in, though, and then Reaper of Harvesters, I think. Harvesters is definitely taking its toll.
This game really should be called Team Poke against Team Scaling, because when you think about the Teemo with his blind or the Zed with his shurikens, that's Zacius coming into the top lane. Catinator tries to get the last little bit of damage onto Delicious Seal, unable to clean that one up. First blood goes down for the jungle Riven, so Jace is doing a nice one there. And also new to the stream, welcome. Appreciate you coming and playing tonight, as Mordekaiser still in that mid lane, trying to push money in, but with that Teemo falling in the top lane, it just decreases the pressure on the Nasus.
It brings the pressure down on the Nasus, which is always a good thing. We see Teemo using his teleport to get back into the top lane, which is going to give the teleport advantage over to the Ninja Turtles. Not as much use right now as it would be a little bit later on, but we'll see if they can maybe take advantage of it with that teleport being down.
Oh, good damage onto the Vigar in the bottom lane. As I was talking about earlier, the team of Poke, those Mystic shots from that Ezreal, just going to continue to harass the Vigar down in that bottom lane. Now, no spells have been used, so there's still potential for either the damage of Kane Kennedy's Ignite or the heal if Vayne feels that she has to burn it down. But Landex, oh, being condemned right back into a stun wall. What a beautiful play. The Ignite is ticking away. This is what I was talking about. The heal being forced out. Landex still going to fall, and Semtheus uses his own heal against the Ignite from Lord Reeves. But a beautiful play of condemning straight into Vygar's stun wall. And now Eat Noob having to back away from the enemy team's jungle, moving out. Beautiful play, though.
And a wonderful use of the synergy, like you said. Beautiful play by Semtheus to condemn into the stun wall of Kane Kennedy's Veigar in order to ensure that they get the CC down. And that was a beautiful work. Semtheus did have to use his flash in order to land the last auto attack on land that he needed to proc the Silver Bolt, so we could see that come back
Ignite
to bite
taking away
him in a minute.
Mordekaiser, but he does have the shield, so he should be able to survive in the mid lane. The Zed, very low health.
Very low health on the Zed, very low health on the Mordekaiser. Zed is staying. Mordekaiser is backed off a little bit, going over to the camps as we got Riven coming in.
Yep, and that's going to be a quick kill over. Cannot dash to his own shadow to escape. Zed falls in the mid lane. Now 3 kills to Ninja Turtles. Despite all of the poke and harass from Team Original, Ninja Turtles has just done a really good job. Both Riven with those rotations and coming into that mid lane, burning the flashes, and then coming back for a repeat gank. Or you know, coming to the top lane, sorry, and burning the flash on the Teemo. And the poke from Team Original just not sustaining long enough.
Exactly, they're looking to keep their poke on and keep it effective, but they've got enough sustain in all the lanes coming out of the Ninja Turtles where they're able to hold off that poke and make sure that it isn't doing as much of effective as it could.
Now, I'd love to see Team Original rotate to pick up this Infernal Drake. Not only is it going to be some extra damage, but it's going to allow them to scale towards that later game where Ninja Turtles is going to be scaling a lot faster than they are. The opposite side of that is if an Ocean Drake comes up, would love Ninja Turtles to just be all over the Ocean Drake because it will give them a lot better sustain into this poke comp from Team Original. Now, my question to you is, do they want to keep the laning phase, Team Original, they want to keep the laning phase running as long as possible, or are they going to rotate out and start kind of comboing their poke power in the top lane? Though Katnir just destroyed by Delicious Seal, throws down the ultimate, and with that Wither, the Teemo cannot escape and just slam down with those Qs. Nasus picking up a solo kill in the top lane.
If I'm Team Original, based on how this laning phase is going, I'm wanting to end it as quickly as possible. Looks like Lord Reeves might be going down here to Semtheus.
Looks like he will be flashing and keeping himself alive. Very low health in the bottom lane, though, and needs to be safe. Landex has also already used that broken stopwatch, so he will not have that for a while yet, and probably will end up selling as Tamani gets sped up in the bottom lane. That's a quick cleanup and a double kill, just destroying. And I love that rotation from Team Original. Squishy members in the bottom lane, no CC as King Kennedy had already used the stun, and that is a quick kill. Now Catinator, though, maybe being finished off super quick in the top lane. E tries to go in, does not have the ultimate. There is no kick, but good damage onto Sejasis. He's going to fall. Delicious Seal going to claim his own kill, 1-for-1 at the moment. Can Eat Noob bait the Nasus over top of the Mushroom? Nice kick as he hit level 6 over the Mushroom. Now Delicious Seal trying to get in with some Qs, but the Karma's coming in as fast as she can, but so is the Mordekaiser. It's the 1v1. Lee Sin cleans up his own kill on the Nasus, and despite the Blast Cone, Mordekaiser doesn't get anything.
Well, and it's very interesting map play coming out of Team Original here. They had a free dragon there. They could have taken that Infernal and accelerated their scaling if they had only gone for it. They had vision of the jungler in the top side during that fight and didn't go after that Infernal Drake.
Indeed, Landex pushing into the bottom lane. We saw the Vygar rotate towards the mid lane, but that was just not going to do, as Zed able to make some nice outplays. And this is one of those things with all those hopping champions I was talking about, is their mobility allows them to escape that wall of stun that Kane Kennedy on that Vygar can throw down. Ezreal, we've seen already several times Arcane shifting over top of it and not being hit by it. Lee Sin able to shield himself. Zed using the shadows to avoid it completely. So with these high mobility champions, they can avoid a lot of that CC coming out from Ninja Turtles.
They can avoid it unless they get condemned into it like we saw before.
Yeah, this is true.
And that's going to be the trick I want to see. I want to see Veigar and Vayne sticking together in order to use that combo more times, because that worked beautifully for them the first time, and I'd love to see it again and again and again.
Now, Vayne has ticked level 6. Landex is also level 6, but he's extremely low mana. Catinator in a trouble, has level 1 boots, but with that Wither, I don't think we'll be able to escape this 2v1 in the top lane. Delicious Seal just walks in underneath the turret. Despite being blinded, the Q is going to be enough, but the turret damage... Oh, goodness. So close. But Tamani is going to come up here in the top lane. Stun up. Buys the Jaces immediately. Has to flash to try to get himself out of this one. Uses the ultimate as well for a little extra damage. Hits the Teemo Shroom on the Riven. Cleans up a kill with the Shurikens. Nice outplay. Now still wants the Nasus. However, just going to be dashing to his own shadow on the opposite side of the lane. And just keeps the Nasus from pushing in as Teemo is teleporting in behind. I don't think going to go in underneath the turret on that one.
No, probably not the best. Probably the best idea to stay out from underneath that turret there.
So Teemo 0-4-3, having a very rough game in the top lane. However, staying relevant in farm, and actually about 10 farm over the Nasus, who every time that he gets a kill still ends up having to back and losing a lot of farm off of that as well. In the bottom lane farm still even between these two ADCs, but the Veigar is the one down in levels, still only level 5, as Lord Reeves level 6 and Landex level 7, so needs to be careful and really needs to start stacking up the AP for his ultimate, because he can one-shot people such as the Ezreal or Karma towards the later end side of the game.
He can do that if he gets up there. The problem is he's got to get to level 6 first, and he's going to have a hard time doing that if he dies over and over like he did to land there.
Just unable to sidestep all of the damage, threw down the stun just to see if anyone was in the bush, but that allowed both the Karma and the Ezreal to pick up vision on him with the ward in the bush, and with that, able to just land all of their long-range poke spells, slow the Veigar down, and he was taken out, though he was able to pick up the ward, so that's, I guess, a consolation prize?
Consolation prize, but not worth. Not worth.
Double buffs on Zed in the mid lane. Lee Sin here as well. It could be a 2v2 party as Riven around the corner. So Jaces finds the Lee Sin, but just kidding. It's the Lee Sin who finds the Riven and forces the flash out. She has escaped back underneath her own mid-tier turret, but the poke from Catinator starting to get some good pain on Nasus in the top lane. The main thing is needs to wait and bait out the ultimate from Nasus until he knows that it's completely safe. In the bottom lane, some Fuse maybe going down as Ezreal getting massive damage to the heals and shields too much, and Tamani in the mid lane helped by the Lee Sin, able to pick up the Mordekaiser, and that is 10 TP falling once again. Now Catinator in the top lane, getting engaged upon by Delicious. Has avoided a lot of damage with that blind, but I think the last auto attack is going to be enough as the Nasus level 6 auto attack speed boost is just insane. Able to pick up another solo kill in the top lane.
And here comes Tamani in to try and finish the job.
I love these rotations by Zed, going bottom lane, picking up a double kill, coming top lane, able to pick up 1. He is now 4-1-1, and has probably spent more time in other lanes than he has his own lane, working hand in hand with Eat Noobs 24/7, able to hold that mid lane over and over every time that the wave tries to push in on the turret.
Well, and he's got the superior wave clear over a Mordekaiser, too. Mordekaiser doesn't have the power to just wipe that wave as quickly as a Zed can. And so he's taking advantage of that and using that as extra time to move around the map and help out his teammates like we've seen him do multiple times.
Still a lot of pieces in everyone's inventory. That is the Oblivion Orb for the Mordekaiser. One of the only finished items being that Yumu's Ghostblade on the Zed. Sheen still in the hands of the Ezreal in the bottom lane, though he did pick up 1 tier. We'll see if he decides to go all the way on the double tier combo. But those pokes between him and Karma are doing a lot of damage. Infernal started up by Ninja Turtles, and they're able to sneak it away as Team Original had no vision on that. And now Mordekaiser, I believe... Does he have the ghost of that dragon? No, he does not. He did not use his ult on it. Oh, no, he does. Yeah, it's actually headed towards the bottom lane.
So I am very confused as to why he set the ghost there, though. He had vision of Zed moving down towards bot lane while they were taking the dragon. He could have taken that back mid and easily put a lot of hurt on that tower, if not taken it.
In the top lane, that's going to be Lee Sin and Teemo both trying to finish off Delicious Seal, and should be able to do that, though Eat Noobs is very low health. 1 more Q might be enough to finish off Catinator, but the damage is too much, and Lee Sin able to clean that one up in the top lane. In the bottom lane, the dragon did fall, and they really didn't get much damage on the turret, so it was kind of a massive waste of that Mordekaiser dragon.
It's a waste of the dragon. They do still have that Infernal, which is what we were both saying. They need to be looking forward to pick up that Infernal, especially since next up we have that Cloud Drake that we were talking about last game with the additional movement speed once you get closer to the end game. We still have not had any towers fall, and there goes the first one.
Yep, first blood turret over to Team Original, and that wind drag would be so massive for Team Original because it would allow the rotations and to avoid the initiations from Ninja Turtles that much easier. Think about Ezreal with multiple wind drags. His poke and arcane shifts is going to make him practically untouchable as Jace is in the bottom lane, waiting for an opportunity to jump onto Team Original's bottom lane champions, but still biding his time. Zed's headed down there as well, so it could be a 3v3.
3-on-3, here we go.
Yep, Tamani running in with Ayumi's Ghost Play, but the stun hits up too, locks them down. Zed ults to get safety for a moment, but he's immediately taken out, jumping on. Love that Vigar stun wall, 1-for-1 traded, because it locked up everyone, holding them in place long enough for Team Ninjas to be able to choose their target, which was the Zed, and take him out. Mordekaiser almost finished off that mid lane turret, but it looks like the 2v2 will continue in the bottom lane.
2v2 will continue in the bottom lane. Looks like we're switching over to 1v2 as Riven wanders off. Vayne playing back, playing safe, so that shouldn't be a problem there. Sitting at about 70% health as we see Mordekaiser moving in, going for the fight.
Yep, looks like Riven is going to come mid as well. Mordekaiser uses his ultimate, and it's still ticking away. That's the worst feeling with Mordekaiser, is when that 10-second ultimate continues to tick a little bit of damage away. You can't walk up underneath the turret, otherwise it will aggro onto you. But with the help of Riven, able to pick up their own turret in the mid lane, Ninja Turtles doing a nice job trying to catch back up in gold. They're still about 1,000 gold behind and need to start to pick up the pace. But again, as long as they are delaying the game out super long term, past that 35-minute mark, their heroes of the Vayne and the Nasus should still come online. The one thing is that Vigar, unable to pick up a lot of farm, is going to slow down his AP growth.
It's going to slow down his AP growth, but he does still get those stacks every time he even hits a target with any of his spells, which he's been doing pretty decently as we've been talking about the stuns. As Temeni comes into the bot lane.
Yeah, Semtheus knows that that's it. I don't believe he's going to burn anything. The flash was still on cooldown, but now Kane Candy standing around too long, tries to bait the Zed in, but he flashes over the wall. Nice move with the ultimate as well. Gets the last proc, able to finish off the Vigar, so that's 2 more kills back into the hands of Team Original's bottom lane, but mostly on that Zed, now 6-2-2, with a 4-0-0 Lee Sin as well. These two are doing so much work for the team. The 0-5 Teemo heads towards the mid lane, has finished Leandro's tournament, so we'll have some decent damage, but Nasus going to be able to free hit that top lane turret.
Nasus and Riven's up there with him as well, so that's going to accelerate the process. That turret going down as well, so that's going to be mid and top towers down, as well as top and bot towers down in the favor of Team Original.
So it really just becomes a trade of turrets, top for bottom, between these two teams. I do think, though, that Nasus still wins out because, again, he continues to stack up his Q, being able to just late game. The damage on that siphoning strike is going to be massive. Right now he's got plus 279 on it. We'll see how that continues moving forward as the Rift Herald has been started by Ninja Turtles. That's just even stacking their damage on turrets even more.
It's going to stack the damage on the turrets, put down one of these other turrets. If I'm Ninja Turtles, I look to set this in the mid lane, possibly. That would give them a way to crush down that tower and open up the map so much more. They've already got that mid-outer down. If they can get mid-inner as well, that opens up their ability to wander through both halves of the jungle on the blue side of the map as they see fit. Yeah,
Lord Reeves moving in with that speed boost, gets the tether down, forcing out the flash from the Riven, so Jace is on the run, but the members of the Original are going to back off from that. Just wanted that flash. Riven back to the jungle. In the mid lane, though, teams are starting to collapse. Kane Kennedy taking a huge chunk of damage. It's an extremely squishy Vigar. 2-5-0. Still has a stopwatch that he hasn't used yet, which is an interesting observation as Landex starts to poke down the mid lane turret. Ezreal's going to throw out the ultimate. Kane Kennedy procs the stopwatch, does finally break it, keeps himself alive. The Zed almost finishing him off with some shurikens.
Keeps himself alive, and if you notice, every time he gets hit with any of these poke spells, we've been talking about how potent these poke spells are, it's taking anywhere from 30 to 50% of his health. Oh my gosh, Temeni blows up.
Yeah, beautiful play there. He is going to fall, which is going to give Mordekaiser a bit of a boost as Eat Noobs is going to be forced to run away from the mid lane. It's going to be Catnair in the bottom lane against Semfuse, but Delicious may be falling. However, he is able to pick up the last siphoning strike onto the Ezreal as Semfuse is able to 1v1 the Teemo in the bottom lane, waits out the blind, and then deals all of the damage, especially with a condemn straight into the wall. And the fight back and forth across the map. But the main thing from that was the fact that the Rift Herald was broken. As soon as Zed saw the Riven start to spawn it, he went in, was able to clean up the Riven as a kill, and thus stop the Rift Herald from actually spawning on the map.
And that's excellently played in order to stop that additional pressure from coming into play. There is a Drake on the map. That Cloud Drake is back up, so we will see if we start wandering back towards that.
Ooh, Temenji may be in trouble. It's able to get over the stun wall, and now Eat Noobs is going to be finishing off the Vigar. No! Oh, beautiful play with the Zhonya's the Vigar just finished picking up, and now Sejace is having to walk around the Mushroom Catinator in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't get the blind down. Kane Kennedy going to fall in 10 TV. Also going to be picked up here. Tries to get the return damage onto Lord Reeves. Unable to find it. So one of the things I wanted to mention earlier was Team Original using this poke composition, able to siege towers extremely well. However, when Ninja Turtles decides it's time to go, it's time to be on the run, Nasus can move in and be a huge front line, but they really need to make these engages not only start, but also stick. Wither being so powerful and Sejace being able to jump in and stun in AoE areas, they need to have this grouping power of the 5-man that will eventually be a lot stronger than Team Original.
Yep, they've got that 5-man team fight going in their favor. All they have to do is actually hit that go button whenever they see an opportunity. And now we do see Team Original moving in towards that Cloud Drake to wrap around it and give themselves a little bit of kill potential.
The poke composition fully online. That was 2 people and 3 spells. Takes out Vigar. Kane Kennedy going to fall for a 7th time. Delicious Seal does have his ultimate if he decides that he wants to go in on this one, but with that blind, I think he's going to want to back out and get healed up. The Wind Drake should be Team Originals, as Ninja Turtles doesn't have much left to try to get in and stop this. However, it will be a trade Drake for Drake, as it will be Team Originals' first Drake of the game.
It will be the first Drake of the game for them. That's going to give them, more importantly, that's going to take a tool away from Ninja Turtles, as they cannot spawn in that Mordekaiser Drake in there. We do have an Ocean Drake coming up next here in 7 minutes, and that will be an opportunity to get a little bit of regen online to last those last couple minutes that they're going to need in order to hit that 35-minute mark for the Ninja Turtles for their scaling to fully take into effect and overtake the damage of Team Original.
Yeah, Kane Kennedy taking a massive amount of damage just from one Teemo Mushroom. Tamani coming around the corner, but Sejace is already on him. Gets a nice stun there, and that's going to be a beautiful kill. Mordekaiser ultimate taking that away, and the Zed does some beautiful damage, and so he is a great ghost to have. Now, Catinator doesn't know that he isn't seen. Eat Noobs 24/7 up there, but it's the AoE damage from the 10 TB. Picking that one up with the help of the Vigar. Delicious Seal in the top lane, just going to auto-attack Lee Sin down. He tries to flash, but the Wither's too strong, and he's going to be decimating these turrets this past 21 minutes, and he doesn't even care. Cleaning up his own turrets, getting that split push on roll as Vigar is headed towards the bottom lane, or mid lane, sorry. But underneath 300 health, needs to play extremely safe. I loved his comment in all chat, report me please, for basically accidentally feeding. Does have his Zhonya's though, so could just try to bait Lord Reeves in.
Well, and I do want to say this, we probably should have put a boots timer on this and said minus 30 seconds every time they get a kill or a takedown, because they have been accelerating the process. That 35-minute timer has already arrived with blinded Delicious Seal just able to destroy towers, inhibitors. Maybe not that one.
One more siphoning strike may have been able to take out the inhibitor, however, will fall heavily due to that blind. In the bottom lane, Matthews is going to be able to pick up his own turret, tries to condemn Tamani back into a wall, won't find it, but the triple procs, one more shot, should be able to finish it off. No! So close, but Zed steals it away. Wow. Both games tonight have been so many times people have escaped with just a little bit of help. 13 HP is what he says in all chat.
Well, and the if that condemn had landed into the wall with the stun, that would have been it. But unfortunately, it did not happen. Did not quite have the range, as we see Slacius going in on Eat Noobs.
Yep, one more auto attack should be enough, but doesn't get it as the kick from Eat Noobs 24/7. Going to be able to land that one. He will escape. So again, another escape from a member with extremely low health. Kane Kennedy taking way too much damage. Flashes, but the tether's still going to land anyway. Ignite taking away, and Lord Reeves gets the kill before Vigar's ult even it finishes its animation, and it is counted on cooldown despite it not landing. The Vigar just falling way too quickly. 20 kills to 16, even in gold across the map. The Ninja Turtles is feeling good because they have made it to late game for themselves.
They've made it to late game, but they're still down in kills. They're barely down in gold, and that's just because they've been taking towers. You do see Delicious Seal back up in the top lane, pushing things towards it as we see Team Original pinging onto him for the assist, so we'll see how this fight goes.
I'd actually love for him to teleport to the bot lane and push some of those exterior turrets. However, he is now 1v2 with an Ezreal and Karma coming in behind as well. And with that blind on the Teemo, it does look like it's going to be the Nasus falling, and no reason to use any spells or teleport, just auto attack himself to death. And Team Original finally shuts down that massive pushing in the top lane. But now 10TB moving in onto 4 members. So Matthews trying to support here as well. Can Kane Kennedy do anything? Does stun up the Teemo for the moment. Condemn not going to do much. The Ezreal cleans up the Vayne, flying through the trench of these walls in the jungle. And Ninja Turtle loses their ADC, so they're forced to back out.
They're forced to back out, and that's going to be severe pressure onto the Baron as Team Original does start it up. That is what they needed right now. They are in such a precarious position. They needed something.
Oh, the Zed may be able to be taking out the Riven, who uses a broken, yeah, it is, broken stopwatch to keep herself alive for a moment, but still will fall. And if we zoom out here now, there is zero vision from red side that this Baron is taking place. And that is going to be a free Baron over to Team Original. Their poke composition finally starting to really take over the game. Despite being low health, they are going to back with a free Baron, and that makes it that much harder for Ninja Turtles to be able to push any of these side lanes.
It makes it hard for them to push it. More importantly, when you've got a poke comp, Baron right now is one of the most powerful things you can have because you can just sit back, protect the cannon minion of all things, and just let it do the work for you. They have to come to you in that situation. If I'm looking for Team Original to group as 5 and get ready to just push down one lane, probably the mid lane, as they've already got a minion wave stacking up there. Bot lane is also an option because you do have the wave pushed up pretty far in that lane.
Would love Ninja Turtles to get some heavy vision down around the Drake, as there's an Ocean Drake that is spawning next, and that would help them a lot against this poke composition, being able to heal up whenever they aren't fighting anything. That Ezreal damage just coming out massively. He has been able to finish off the complete tier item of the Manamura, as well as that Trinity Force, not going for the next tier item yet. And it is going to be Delicious Seal trying to 1v4, 1v3 with the inhibitor, will be taken out. And that's where I wish he was pushing like the bottom lane, picking up those turrets, because it's still standing gold and he can decimate those so quickly. But when he pushes in by himself on that inhibitor, he's just unable to take it out.
He's pushing him by himself on that inhibitor, making himself an easy target, especially with the Baron empowered recalls. They backed in 4 seconds there. He had no chance to take that out before the rest of the team collapsed on him.
Oh, Salacious comes in, stunning 2, trying to push the Teemo back underneath the turret, able to get that for the moment, but completely misses the ultimate. So Matthews, one more auto attack, might be able to finish off Landex, and gets the crit shot, taking out the Ezreal. And now Cat sitting in a bush is actually, they should know that he's in there. Nope, the blind and the Zanyas keeps the Vigar alive for the moment, but the poison explosion, I believe, from Mordekaiser just misses Kane Kennedy. He's able to escape for the moment, but now Eat Noobs moving in onto Matthews should be able to find at least a Sonic Wave if he doesn't even worry about that. Oh, he does land a Sonic Wave anyway. Goes in to his own demise. One more auto attack might be enough.
Oh,
holy moly, a good play with the Blast Cone. Repositions himself, and he's able to pick up 1 and an assist on the Mordekaiser. So Team Original with some beautiful play from the Lee Sin get 2, and now should be able to siege this mid-tier turret and take the second one for themselves in the mid lane.
Take that second turret, and they do still have Baron on 4 members. They can push in onto this mid inhibitor turret and see what kind of damage they can do, or they can retreat back to that Ocean Drake. Claim their prize.
That main thing of taking the Ocean away from Ninja Turtles, which would have been nice against this poke composition, they are going to lose it as Team Original, going to be able to clean that one up fairly quickly. Lee Sin coming in just for the smite as well. So neutral objectives are gone across the map. Baron buff about to despawn. 2 dragons up for Team Original, And now, as they are 6,000 gold in the lead, they're still feeling good. But the main thing is they cannot fight 5v5. Because that eventual full power of a Nasus tank and a Vayne coming online with 3 or 4 items in the late game will be too much. They need to stick with their plan that they're doing right now, which works well, sieging turrets, using their poke, and slowly whittling the members of Ninja Turtles down so either one overextends and dies, or they're just forced to back to heal up, and they can move in and get one of these turrets.
And one of the things I do want to point out there is that Team Original actually finished off the Dragon at 27 minutes and 58 seconds, which means that our next Drake is actually going to be an Ocean and not the Elder Drake. If I were Team Originals here, I would have actually held for a couple of seconds and finished it after the 28-minute mark, so the next Drake was Elder. Elder Drake is something they can use to their advantage with them having 2 Elemental Drakes, but their poke comp actually makes it to where they would have that burn effect happening a lot more often and have it a little bit more effective in their hands than it would be in their opponents. So that would be just a little thing that I would have thought about. But as it stands, we are going to have that Ocean Drake, going to be a second Ocean Drake if it is picked up by Team Originals.
Yeah, they're just going to, maybe they purposefully didn't wait because they wanted that extra Ocean Drake to give themselves a little more mana for when they're doing those pokes. The Ezreal has picked up that Blade of the Ruined King, so he is prepped and ready to try to do some good damage to these tank front line of the Nasus and Mordekaiser on Ninja Turtle's side. Catinator playing that split push champion, but the members of Tamani around the corner with Lord Reeves as well. The Zed goes in deep, gets good damage down. That's going to be the explosions. Vayne has fallen, but now can Delicious Seal get one in trade? The burn on Tamani not going to be able to finish him off. He is very, very low health and needs to be saved, but the top lane turret should fall for Ninja Turtles. Oh, Kane Kennedy flashes in just for the ult, finishes off the Zed. That's the press R and win Vanguard that we're all used to. The Teemo is able to get the kill in trade, but the top lane inhibitor should fall. Delicious Seal trying to stem off the tide of Team Original's members moving in, but once they get that objective, they are gone.
They are gone indeed. Out of the base, and they can reset, get themselves ready for a push. They may even rotate down to bot lane if they want to take advantage of this minion wave, but honestly, they're probably backing out here.
Yeah, and I was just surprised they didn't immediately start the recall. They threw down a couple more mushrooms, a couple wards, but they're actually sticking around, waiting to see what Ninja Turtles does as Delicious Seal pushing out those minion waves in the top lane. Maybe they're hoping for a pick onto the Nasus, but he's playing safe. He saw the Lee Sin walk by, so decides to just go ahead and stay inside the base. Catinator moving forward, but Delicious Seal had his number. Throws down the Wither despite hitting the Teemo Mushroom. King Kennedy is here as well, trying to back up. Uses his Zonius, keeps himself alive for the moment. The Vayne here for revenge on the Lee Sin. Eat Noobs 24 tries to get in. The nice kick on the Nasus with the execution kill to take out the Vigar. Trades his life instead. In the mid lanes, Jace is using all of the skills and abilities to hold that mid lane turret and keep it from falling, as the bot lane turret also suffering massive amount of damage from these minion waves, but Ninja Turtles continues to hold.
Ninja Turtles holds their base and wins that fight, and I gotta say, that was not the fight I would normally expect Catinator to take. Catinator and Eat Noobs definitely found themselves in a bit worse position than they thought, because Delicious Seal is just doing a wonderful job on this Nasus, especially since he's got his Triforce, he's got his Spirit Visage, he's even got his Righteous Glory, so he can just run in at them.
Yeah, that on top of the Ghost plus Wither on whatever champion he decides should make them unescapable. He should be able to just chase them down and finish them off, as well as now picking up that early start to a Thornmail should make him just that much more tanky. And again, we are now at that 32-minute mark, and we talked about the power of Ninja Turtles as they get past that 35, and with an Infernal Drake as well, there's just so much potential for them to win a team fight and start to take over a game, especially when Nasus late game can just two-shot turrets.
Two-shot turret, speaking of getting two-shot, Jace's almost gets deleted there, walking into the Karma Ezreal.
Quick fingers, the Ezreal throws out the ultimate, puts Jace's low, but not low enough to take out. Now the Baron has been started a second time by Team Original. Lord Reeves leading the charge on that. Lee Sin coming up as well. Should be able to pick this one up. Once again, no vision from Ninja Turtles on this. They do not see it happening. However, they do see people walking by that one ward over the wall. I think by the time they get up there, it will go down. Tamani tries to get in onto the Vigar. Should be able to pick that one up. No roots onto the Riven. Will pop her. Take one. But Matthews able to chase down the Zed finish him off. In the meantime, though, that's going to be the Guardian's Angel pop. Tries to come back up. Lee Sin misses a Sonic Wave, but the kick will land. And that's going to be the Vayne falling. In the meantime, Catinator headed towards the mid lane. Knocked down 2/3 health. Monty Ghost wants in on this one. The poke, though, from Landex causes 10TB to think twice about it. Eat Noobs 24 will land the Sonic Wave. Zanya is used by the Mordekaiser as well, but he is in a 1v2 with his Ghost. Trying to auto-attack the Teemo. Gets the trade and kills with the Ghost, but will still fall. And with a Baron up, Lee Sin now moving on to the middle inhibitor. Should be able to take that out. Middle inhibitor turret.
That's going to be the inhibitor gone, and we'll see if they want to try pushing for game here. They've got not enough time. Not enough time. Those inhibitors will be enough and walk away there. Delicious Seal managing to hold the top wave so that can't come in with the super minions that are already there.
And the main thing is that they have that Baron still on their side to continue to push in. Baron up minions in the bottom lane with Lord Reeves being able to poke that down. Delicious Seal trying to tank up as much damage as possible, but the cannon there may be able to stop this top or bottom lane turret from falling. Will not, and that is going to be all inhibitor turrets having fallen. Ninja Turtles only sitting on one inhibitor. Kane Kennedy still level 14, having a very rough game.
And I love what Reeves did there with that tower. He let that massive wave of minions get ahead of him, and then he just danced behind it while they tried to clear out the minions that were in the front line. The cannon and all those caster minions just took down that tower for him. He didn't have to do a thing.
Oh, so Jace is in trouble, unable to hop over the wall. The tether goes down, and that's Zed cleaning that one up, despite the condemn into a wall. Eat News 24 with an insect kick onto the Mordekaiser. Should be able to make him fall as well, unless the team is able to save him in time. Gets the kill onto the Lee Sin, and that's actually very good for Team Ninja Turtles, as the Vayne is chasing down the Zed. Will back off from that, and 10TB gets a beautiful outplay with the help of that Viger Stun.
Viger stun, and then of course that he laid down the ult on Eat Noob, so that's going to give him an extra little bit of a helper there, especially for the wave clear, since he does get the item of the Tiamat. I'm sorry, now it's a Titanic Hydra. I believe he does only get the effect of the Tiamat that was on Eat Noobs 24/7.
Ooh, Tamani maybe falling here. Beautiful play. The broken stopwatch from the Vayne, having picked that one up earlier, keeps her alive. Zed unable to get the execution, and then Vigar shows up, just throw out the ultimate. In the meantime, the Teemo in the bottom lane, despite the blind, doesn't matter. Vayne picks up her own kill down there as well. Now 4, 8, and 5 in the top lane. So Jace is being chased around this top lane. Inhibitor Landex moving in, trying to take it out, but all the members of Ninja Turtle chasing in. Delicious Seal starts the ultimate, and the Ghost as well. Moving in with that speed boost, should be able to get the Wither down slow. Landex despite those jumps, and this is what we talk about, almost inescapable. Going to be cleaned up, so Jace cleans that one up. And past the 35-minute mark, Ninja Turtles has won every fight.
Yep, they've started to clean up every single engagement we see. That is a lot of damage coming out of Lord Reeves there as he lands the Q into there. They've won every single fight we've seen since that 35-minute point. They also won a couple before then. They've held their base. Now let's see if they can continue to hold their base. They do have exposed inhibitors in every lane now, but their Nexus towers still have not taken any damage.
Yes, and that's the nice thing about the way that the map is formed. It's so much easier to rotate when you get pushed back into your own base. Now, Team Original still has that open inhibitor in the top side, but I love the fact that Nasus, rather than trying to make those 1v3 moves to finish off that inhibitor, is playing with the team, being that frontline tank, and because he's becoming unkillable at this point in the game with the finished Thornmail as well, he should be able to hold out for his team. And as they continue to win engages, continue to get gold back into their hands, they're still down about 8,000 gold. They can eventually win a late game team fight, as Vayne, with 3 items stacking into a 4th, is truly coming online.
Well, and we're hitting that point we talk about when we start getting to the late game, where gold starts to mean less and less as we get that 65,000 gold mark.
The main thing I want to see from Kane Kennedy is his positioning in these team fights. Can he just put himself where he needs to be to land that event horizon that stuns up so many members of the enemy team and allows them to just execute kill after kill? And he doesn't even need to use the ultimate, though. If he wanted to throw that down onto the Karma and just kind of scare her off from the fight would be good as well. But really, it's about that event horizon without dying, because if he dies, it's a 4v5, and Team Original can go right back to poking.
And that's exactly what I was about to say. Now, his item set doesn't bode as well for that as I would like to. He does have the Proto Belt, which he's been using primarily to go into the fights instead of to get out. I would like to see him land that Event Horizon and use that Proto Belt to get away, rather than dive even deeper into the enemy team.
Yeah, delicious seal with those siphoning strikes, just having no issue cleaning up these bot lane minions. One of the nice things about that Nasus is he is able to clean up super minions so much easier than a lot of other champions in the game because he can stack up that siphoning strikes damage. In the top lane, it is a 4v4. Lord Reeves around the side waiting for an opportunity to engage. 10TB doesn't have much shield. Lee Sin goes in, gets the kick, doesn't find anyone, just pushes him back. The damage is down. Blinded on the Riven, doesn't matter. Her Guardian's Angel has been procced, but Vayne's cleaning up the back of the line. Matthews with a quick clean, and that's picking up 2. And the Blast Cone does not get procced by the Lee Sin. In the meantime, Lord Reeves around the corner, trying to wait for an opportunity to jump back into the fight, but the Guardian's Angel on this Vayne is going to keep her safe, and Lord Reeves just moving around, kind of delaying time for the members of Ninja Turtle as Vayne is able to clean up multiple kills. Sejace is maybe going down, flashes in for the stun. Lord Reeves should fall despite getting a nice kill trade onto the Riven, and Matthews picks up yet another one. Teemo cleans up the Mordekaiser post the fight.
Gotta love those Teemo shrooms picking up kills long after the fight is already over. Sure, I've only got 10 seconds left on my death timer, but I can still kill you because I'm Teemo.
Because I'm Teemo, and I've got those little explosives all over the jungle. Now, he hasn't had much time to actually place too many of those as he's been running around with the team, but in the meantime, it is Baron still spawning in about 20 seconds, and the, I believe, Elder Drake, yep, it will be spawning in about 45 seconds. Ninja Turtles does have an opportunity to get out there and put some vision down. However, they are, with those few members that are trying to buy out their last couple of items, going to be playing it safe at the moment and not aggressively get that vision down, which I would have loved to see at least from the Nasus, because at this point in the game, unless he's 1v5, he's practically unkillable.
He's practically unkillable. I was watching Ezreal dance around the Baron while you were talking right there, and we're looking like we're going to be getting a Baron start here relatively soon. If they can pick off any one member of Ninja Turtles, that's a Baron. Or, you know, Ninja Turtles' absolute worst nightmare, a Baron and an Elder. They are grouping around the Baron for Team Original, so we should see a fight breaking out here soon, if not just the Baron started up.
And that is something from Team Original, is they want to take out that Riven, as she is the jungler for the members of Team Turtles. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that like a Cho'Gath Feast, a Nasus Siphoning Strike late game can do just as much execution damage, or nearly as much execution damage, so you need to be careful of that. ZZ Rot Portal has been spawned by the Nasus just to continue to add some extra pressure in the mid lane. Massive vision from Team Original all through the jungle, so they see every move that Ninja Turtles gets, as Catinator should be falling in the top lane, quickly cleaned up. Now a 4v5 as members of Team Original completely split across the map, but looking for the
Elder Drake. Oh, and make that a 4v6, because that did put Catinator's ghost, that Teemo ghost, on the side of Ninja Turtles. Let's see if they can get there before that Elder Drake gets wrapped up. No, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, looks like Elder Drake is going to be picked up. The Children of the Grave going to help out with a little bit of damage. If they could clean up all the members of Team Original right now, that would be massive. Kane Kennedy tries to get in, flashing the wall for the stun. Unable to do so, though, and that means that the members of Ninja Turtles are going to have to back out empty-handed. Matthews still comes in, though, finds Tamani, doesn't get the condemn into the wall, just wanting to push the wave. There are minions moving down very quickly, so they could try to get this exterior Tier 2 bottom lane turret. Catinator on his ghost, just moving in. He will be spawning in about 5 seconds, so he could potentially fight himself in the bottom lane, but second tier turret will fall for Ninja Turtles.
Second tier turret, and if you take a look at your mini map there, Lord Reeves and Land were both moving up towards the Baron to try, it looks like it tried to start it up and see what they could get done. They had to back, though, with the intervention on the tower there.
Yep, the Catinator able to kill his own ghost, so feeling a little bit more confident after taking down what he might fear most. Unable to break the bottom lane inhibitor turrets, Ninja Turtles walks away empty-handed for now. However, that ZZ Rot's continuing to not only put pressure in the mid lane. One of the things I like a little bit about Nasus's position on it was it kind of granted some vision from around the Baron pit as well, so you could kind of get some vision to see who is moving around. But all 5 members of Team Original are now jumping onto the Baron, and if they start it right now, they may be able to burn it down before Ninja Turtles can get there.
It's gone.
Yep, down
There's no
8,000,
chance.
6,000, 5,000. Ninja Turtles unable to even get close before it falls. Baron for a third time in the hands of Team Original, and they should be able to, with that, continue the pressure that they've kept up so far this game. It's going to take a massive fight from Ninja Turtles now at the 43-minute mark to be able to come back and win this game. But as it is this late into the game, all it takes is one team fight from either side.
One team fight from either side, but with the Barons sitting on top. Remember the change they implemented a couple patches ago, where subsequent Barons are more potent as the game goes on. With this being the third Baron, that is a very powerful Baron buff sitting on Team Original.
So members of Ninja Turtles playing it very, very safe, trying to get a little bit of vision down in their own jungle. But Jace is going to be found out for a moment, forced to run away as Delicious Seal tanks up a massive amount of damage. The Riven already down below half health, forced to go back to the turret. Inhibitor in the mid lane may fall. Members of Ninja Turtles trying to defend. The one thing I want to watch is, where does Matthews go in? Is this Vayne going to be that backline damage deal that we want to see executing people, or will she just be immediately taken out of the fight? We'll have to watch as the Vigar goes in, trying to get the stun down, doesn't find anyone. Lee Sin already splitting in the bottom lane, 1-3-1 for Team Original, as the mid lane inhibitor is starting to get very, very low. ZZ Rot trying to defend as much as possible, but Landix just pours out the damage, and that's the middle inhibitor already falling.
That's the inhibitor gone, and let's see if Delicious Seal can win this fight.
Yeah, it's a 1v1 in the bottom lane with the Lee Sin. I think that kick just kind of spells a delay there, but the top lane inhibitor will fall as well. And at the moment, Team Original has spread the members of Ninja Turtle out completely across the map, so Jace is forced to flash as 10TB also flashing, but executed by Landex's ultimate. And in the bottom lane, Tamani, 2v1s against the Nasus, playing it very, very well. Now Sam Matthews with no vision, trying to get what damage she can down. Condemn onto Eat Noobs, but he's not executed.
Matthews
she hits
has
some
to get back to
minions
base.
instead.
That's the game.
She doesn't have Guardian's Angel. 3 members here in the mid lane, already taken out the Nexus turrets and moving on to the Nexus itself. Catonator not being stunned up. The blind onto the Vigar. He doesn't have the damage. The Nexus has fallen, and that's going to be the end of the game. 40 kills to 33. Team Original play to their poke strengths, pull the 1v1. The Nasus solos Lee Sin in the bottom lane while the rest of his team falls apart, and Ninja Turtles ends up going down in a crazy 45-minute game.
Well, and it's like you were saying, we were praising Delicious Seal for being with the team and fighting with the team for so long, and then he goes down to bot lane to 1v1 the Lee Sin, and the rest of his team falls apart because they don't have that beefy frontline tank. That Mordekaiser built damage. He does not have the capacity to hold his own in those team fights. He has to have Delicious Seal, has to have that Nasus on the front line, making sure that he's soaking up the damage so that he can deal it.
All right, so we did get to the end of game number 2. Go ahead and give us, for the losing team, MVP and honorable mention in your opinion.
Despite what I just said, I have to give honorable mention to Delicious Seal. He did a wonderful, wonderful job of pushing the advantages that he did have. And at the end of the game, 8-7-8, he made some changes to how he was playing. He was focusing on the split push, and that's kind of why I have to give him honorable mention instead of the MVP, because he did make a few key mistakes that, brutally honest, ended up costing his team possibly the game. I don't think they necessarily could have definitely 100% pulled it out if he had been there for that last team fight, but they definitely would have had a much better chance to do so if he just sacrificed that bot lane inhibitor and fought with his team in that last team fight. As far as the MVP goes, I want to give it to the Mordekaiser because he did a good job of making sure that he had pressure. He made sure to drop his ultimate on the chant targets that they were eliminating so that he could create not just a 4v5, but a 4v6 situation in certain cases. The use of that first Drake that they took down, and the only Drake they ended up getting through the entire game, was suboptimal in my opinion, but he did manage to make sure that when they were in the team fights, when they're in those situations where he could ult a character, ult a carry, and make sure that they were taken down, he made sure that he had a target that A, was useful to his team, and B, was definitely 100% going to die during the period of Children of the Grave.
And one of those things is that there were so many outplays. One of the things with Mordekaiser is that third hit when he is proccing does a massive amount of damage. And at least twice, I was sure that he was dead, but instead decided to go back and get the damage down, knew the champion well enough, and was able to get either a trade kill or just completely turn the fight around on its head. I also want to point out Matthews' play overall, really solid. Did die several times. Again, when you're playing that poke composition, it's very difficult, and did not have a great vision overall in the game, so unable to see when she was about to be 2v1. Zed coming to the bottom lane so many times. But the Vayne still had some really good fights in which she was moving to the back line, throwing down a lot of damage. A lot of the reason why Ninja Turtles was able to delay the game out as long as they did was because Matthews was cleaning up fights. And I love to see that out of the Vayne. So a huge shout out to Matthews on that Vayne. For the winning team, giving honorable mention over to, I gotta give it to Eat Noobs 24. And part of the reason is in combination with the MVP, which is on Temeni for absolute certainty. The rotations by Temeni were huge. I mean, as I talked about towards the early part of the game, about the 15 minutes of the game, Temeni was spending almost more time in the side lanes than he was his own lane. But hand in hand with that, Eat Noobs 24/7 was spending a massive amount of time mid lane, holding that lane. One of the things you see a lot with mid laners is if they roam, usually the enemy mid laner can push in and clear that turret. Eat Noobs 24/7 multiple times was defending. Well, didn't mind playing that I'm not going to be making the engages in other lanes. I'm going to let the mid lane roll, start to get stacked up, deal that huge burst damage, and carry the game, basically. And I'm going to be more of that supportive role that just makes sure we don't lose turrets. And so those two in combination really did a huge job in being able to secure the win for Team Original.
Absolutely. I do want to definitely give a shout out to Catnator. Super got smashed in the early game. Ended up 0-5-4 at one point and came back to make sure he was still relevant in the end game.
I love so much map pressure. Indeed. All right, we're gonna do a quick BRB as I set up the third and final game of the night. I know that we have a Resdra invitation, as well as Kane Kennedy wants to invite several players as well to the game, so we're gonna give him some time to get those invitations down. But let's go ahead and switch over to the Be Right Back scene, and we'll get Game 3 underway in just a minute. I thought King Kennedy for sure was going to play the King in the second game. Said something to XLNC Nova about that, but didn't end up happening this time around.